Welcome to the show. We have primary results to discuss, and they are very interesting. A radical and repugnant, reactionary Republican Congresswoman from Colorado, Lauren Boebert, was able to grab a hard win against very stiff competition. Actually, it wasn't that hard of a win, to be totally honest. She won pretty easily. Jamaal Bowman lost. A bunch of Maga tools also lost. So really quite a mixed bag yesterday. So let's discuss. A couple of the highest profile races we will start with. Lauren Boebert indeed did win in Colorado's 4th district. This was a heavily contested primary with some very interesting and contentious and confrontational debates, clips of which went viral and we discussed. But at the end of the day, Lauren Boebert winning quite easily. She had about 43% of the vote. All of the other candidates sharing about 57% of the vote, and a perfect example of how the large number of contenders likely helped Lauren Boebert, the only candidate with serious name recognition there, at least as far as national fundraising is concerned. If everybody else had gotten out of the way of, for example, Jerry Sonnenberg or Deborah Flora, or maybe even Richard Holtorf or Mike Lynch, they could have consolidated the 57% non-Boebert support and maybe taken her out. But it was not to be, and Lauren Boebert is going to now move on to the general election in the 4th District of Colorado in November, and we will see what happens there. A Democratic challenger to Congressman Jamaal Bowman, also a Democrat, this is a primary, of course, George Latimer, has defeated Jamaal Bowman. That race got ugly. It was also a high-profile race. And it really wasn't close, 55-44, Latimer knocking out Bowman. And this is one where the propaganda is thick and it is heavy. The story you are hearing from some about this race is that Bowman is great. He's a true progressive, an excellent member of Congress, a fantastic candidate, and he lost because he had the testicular fortitude to come out against Israeli atrocities, and the Israeli lobby went after him and blah, blah, blah. He is an anti-Israeli candidate, but he's a terrible candidate. He's a conspiracy nut. And the truth is that the Israeli lobby has supported challenges against Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and they have lost, and the incumbents, Omar, Tlaib, and AOC, have won easily. And in fact, Jamaal Bowman originally won his House seat against a heavily AIPAC-funded candidate. So that's not really what it's about. Sometimes we on the left have to accept, I think we should accept, difficult realities. And the difficult reality in the case of Bowman is that he became extremely unpopular within his own district. AIPAC didn't create that. They certainly took advantage of it. Bowman has said a lot of wacky stuff. He once said, we're all going to show effing AIPAC the power of the mother effing South Bronx. The South Bronx isn't even in his district. He wrongly stated that Riverdale was in Westchester. It's actually in the South Bronx. I mean, he's just a terrible candidate, okay? Trump's a terrible candidate. He was terrible in 2020. He lost. He deserved to lose, whatever opinion you have about Trump. This guy is not a good candidate. He accused the Jews of segregating Westchester. He was caught plagiarizing his dissertation, and he's a bad candidate. I would consider his election an anomaly or even an anomaly to begin with. Both pronunciations acceptable according to most American English dictionaries. And just a bad candidate, okay? So he's going to have to move on and do something else. Also, not a great night for Maga, and we're going to talk about that in a bit. But great news. Remember last week that Pastor Mark Burns, who bailed on interviewing me at the last second and tried to send his Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs communications director? And they were very confident going in, very confident. And to be honest, I thought that Pastor Mark Burns was going to win. He lost. And even though the winner, Sherry Biggs, is still a bonkers Republican, generically speaking, it's a great thing that it is another Trump endorsee who has lost. And we will talk about that in the next segment in a little bit more detail. Democratic Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez did face a primary challenge. It did not go well for Martin Dolan. AOC amassing 82% of the vote at the point at which 90% of the vote had been counted. And so an easy win for AOC. And then Dan Goldman, sort of an interesting race. He had challengers in the 10th district in New York, but he has really made a name for himself with some very good congressional hearing performances, and he's good in interviews and in media. So Dan Goldman, a freshman member of Congress, and he easily won his primary and will go on to stay in Congress and be reelected in November in what is a reliably blue district. So an interesting night, a mixed bag, but I want to now talk a little bit about the Trump endorsees that had a very, very bad night last night. One of today's sponsors is Strideline, the creator of the most comfortable sock on earth. Established in 2009 by childhood friends in Seattle, Strideline has dedicated years to researching the most comfortable socks, and they really are. They present you with socks that are not only incredibly comfortable, but highly functional for an unparalleled experience. For the sports enthusiasts in the audience, Strideline will keep your feet warm on game day. As an official partner of the NFL, MLB, NCAA, and Major League Soccer, they bring you a range of socks tailored for every sports fan. But Strideline's diverse collection also includes non-sports socks like basic crew and ankle socks, as well as premium options like combed cotton and merino wool. Embracing sustainability, their eco socks are made from recycled plastic bottles that are taken out of the ocean. You can make your feet and the earth more comfortable. I grabbed a pair of fantastic New England Patriots socks, even though it's not going so well for the Pats right now. They are still my go-to when I'm watching the games. Go enhance your comfort with a 20% discount only for the David Pakman Show. No other show is getting this discount. Use code PAKMAN for 20% off at strideline.com. The link is down below.